good day today, huh?
Yeah, it's a wonderful day.
I love it, I love it, I love it. So, are you ready, San Bruno, for successful thinkers?
Yes!
What do you think, Shari? Are they ready?
I can hear that.
One more time.
One more
San
time.
Bruno, are you ready for successful thinkers? Yeah, I love it, I love it. Well, good morning. I hope everyone is having fun. Sorry for the late start of the meeting, but there was some trouble today, so it's okay, right? Right.
All good.
All good in the hood, right?
Do we speak like that here at a professional meeting?
We do. It's San Bruno. I'm sorry, this is bothering me. It's got to come off. So no, I know, you guys are all surprised to see me in a suit.
I was.
I don't usually wear suits, I like to be dressed down, but it's okay. And to your surprise, how many have ever seen Elias in a suit coat, huh?
I wear a suit more often.
Yeah! So, I want to welcome everybody, oh I'm sorry, Ray, go ahead. To the San Bruno Successful Thinkers. September 9th, 2010. Can anyone tell me what happened? Randy can tell me. September 9th, 2010. It was a Thursday evening. PG&E pipe exploded. Believe it or not, folks, that was a year ago Friday. That is why we chose Shari's as San Bruno meeting. Believe it or not, you guys are sitting a half-mile away from the explosion site. To this day, they are still rebuilding, and I just saw an article in the newspaper that they are struggling to rebuild in that area. That's why Successful Thinkers came to San Bruno. Successful Thinkers is going to help the community of San Bruno out. How many's with me on that?
Yes.
That's right. Because this is our hometown, right, Kelly? This is our hometown. We take care of our hometown. So, at this time, I want to say thank you to everybody who came from afar. So, if you came anywhere from, let's say, outside the East Bay, please stand up. Anne Marie from Napa, right? The wine country. We have Ray Brooks from Fair Oaks, Shari Prasad from Fair Oaks.
Bye.
They came a long way to help support the launch today. There will be others as they come in, they will get introduced. They got stuck in a truck accident on 580, so let it be day of the launch accidents, right? But we want to give honor to real honors due, so we thank you guys for coming afar and helping launch the event today. Let's see, going over my checklist. Paying it forward. Oh, I love paying it forward. Shari, don't you like paying it forward?
Absolutely.
What about you, Gary? You like paying it forward? All right. So, paying it forward. For those of you that are new to Successful Thinkers, let me just explain it a little bit. We get these rooms for free. They don't charge us anything. They don't hold us to a dollar amount. But they can do that on the notion that we support the restaurants. When you come to these meetings, don't be afraid to buy a salad. Don't be afraid to buy ice cream, buy pie. Or if you like Elias, buy the biggest burger on the menu. Be happy, right?
Why are you picking on me today?
Because I can. So, paying it forward. Now, I like to take it a step further. Paying it forward after the one-on-ones. You're going to hear in a little bit about setting up one-on-ones. When you have the one-on-ones, don't be afraid to pay it forward on Facebook and social media.
Yes.
Now, I see this happening a lot more, and I thank you guys for doing it. The only way that people will see on Facebook who you had a one-on-one with is if you guys put it out there, and you tag them, and you just say, I just had a great one-on-one with Kelly Cowell. She's a fabulous lady. Get to know, like, and trust her. That's what the one-on-one's all about. Paying it forward would be on Facebook saying, I just had a fabulous one-on-one with Kelly Cowell. did you know blah, 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 blah? And putting it out there so people could comment on it and paying it forward on social media. So when I do, that's why Elias only lets me do paying it forward, because I do it so well. Believe me, I try to get out of it. But anyways, at this time, is it time? It is time. So at this time, let me introduce you to a good friend of mine. He's an excellent guy. Oh, by the way, Bianca and Colleen are waitresses today, and they're a little shy, so Bianca, go ahead, and then if you want to start here, help them out. Don't be afraid. Remember, big brother's watching you. And other ones, Elias is watching. So anyways, like I was saying, a dear friend of mine about January 5th, we went to the Stockton chapter of Successful Thinkers to support a good guy we know, David Light. He called me on his way home that day and said, Eric, what do you think about bringing successful thinkers to the Bay Area? I know, if those of you that know me and also know about the guy I'm talking about, if he says anything, I'm okay with it, because he has never let me down. To this day, he still has not let me down. So I said, let's do it. When do you want to start? What date do we want to do the launch event? Where do we want to do it? Because of that, January 5th, today is September 6th, so it's been a while, 9 months, 8 months. We've already, started some other chapters, but at this time, let's all do a round of applause for the Bay Area Regional Director of Successful Thinkers, Elias Melas!
Burning me up really well, Eric. How's everyone doing today?
Great!
Should I try this one more time?
Yeah, one more time.
One more time with everything you've got. How are you all doing today?
Great!
All right. Well, I want to know who's here at Successful Thinkers event for the very first time. Raise your hand. Okay.
Stand up.
Where did you hear about this event? Through man, right there. Now, who else? Go ahead and stand on up. Where did you hear about the event today?
From Barbara Zabella out in Modesto.
Oh, wow. All the way from Modesto. Wow. But you live out here, though.
I live here.
Okay, so you probably connected on Facebook or had friends for
Yeah,
for a
something
while.
like that, yeah.
Beautiful. Love
Known her
that.
for years. So.
Oh, fantastic. What about yourself?
Meetup.
For Meetup? Meetup.com. Anybody else here for the very first time today? Okay, go ahead and stand up for a second. Where'd you hear about the event today?
I heard about the event from CJ.
Oh, CJ. Hey, how you doing, CJ? Good to see you. Sitting back there. Thank you for being here. Who else? Where'd you hear about the event from?
David Pacheco.
David Pacheco. Oh, what a great guy. Wow, our people are doing some great promo work for us. Hi, Eric. Fantastic. Well, thank you for being here. And now, who here is a Successful Thinkers expert, have been to these events for many, many times in other locations? Raise your hand if you're a Successful Thinkers expert. Because I need somebody here to tell me what the motto of Successful Thinkers is. Who can tell me that? Who wants to tell me that? Raise your hand. Who should I pick on, Eric? Because
I think Jennifer.
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yeah, Jennifer Cunin.
I don't think about her.
Paul, why don't you let your daughter out?
I'm gonna let her out.
She's been in San Jose the last
You've been in San Jose the last couple of weeks, so what is the motto of Successful Thinkers?
What can I do for you to help move your business forward?
Very close. What can I do to help you move your business forward? And what does that mean, folks? It doesn't mean that we're here to collect a bunch of business cards and then go back to our offices the very next day and cold call everybody that we met trying to pitch them our business. We're here to build relationships, and over the course of time, we might do business with each other, or we may never do business with each other, but we might be able to help each other out in some other way, shape, or form. So I ask everybody, please keep a good relationship with everyone that you meet, because you just never know what's going to come out of it. So on that note, I want you all to repeat after me. What can I do to help you move your business forward? What can I do to help you move your business forward? Now here's the fun part, Eric. Now say that to the person on your left. What can I do to help you this part without Fritz. So basically, folks, right now I'm going to briefly talk to you all on how we got here. Eric started saying about how we got here. On Wednesday, June 15th, we launched San Jose. We had almost 100 people there. It was a fantastic launch. We meet there every single Wednesday from 11 a.m. till 1 p.m. at Alvin Sonoma Chicken. 9 days later, I thought it was crazy that Kim Sarah, who will be here in a minute, and Madeline wanted to start a chapter 9 days after a major launch. But we did it, and it took off, and it's going really well. So 9 days later, on Friday, June 24th,
About time.
at Spice's Restaurant, we launched the Foster City Peninsula chapter. God, I'm really script. I remember these things after a while.
Yeah, I like this.
I know. And 2 months later, folks, 2 months later, here we are in San Bruno, launching another successful Thinkers chapter. How do y'all feel about that? In less than 3 months, we've taken Successful Thinkers and went into one of the toughest markets to bring this in, right, Anne-Marie? This has been a very tough market in the past, and look what we've done after 3 months. Now, there's more to come, folks. We've been talking about East Bay, Walnut Creek, we've been talking about Pleasant Center, we've been talking about that whole East Bay area, and we were going to go there next, but we have a change of plans. Because one of our good friends who was confirmed for the event today, I wanted to have him stand up right now and give him some recognition, and edify him. Fritz Gustafsson and his wife Kate, I said his name right here,
Yeah.
came up to me after, coming to our event about 5 or 6 times. They were regulars to San Jose, and they said, what would it take to get this going in Morgan Hill? Now, how many of you know the Morgan Hill, Gilroy area? Okay? How many of you would love to network down there for free and do business with people down there? Because what's Gilroy known as? Who can say what Gilroy is known as? The garlic capital of the world, and also the Gilroy outlets are down there. There's a lot of business there, folks. A lot of untapped business right there. So we don't have a date yet. It's not official, but eventually it will be. Over the next few months, if it doesn't work out for the holidays, by after the holidays, we're going to be launching the Morgan Hill chapter of Successful Thinkers. How do y'all feel about that? As Kim We're not trying to push you on this clock. We wanted to welcome you. So that's what we have going on next, folks. Now, at this time right now, I want to introduce a great gentleman. When I first met this guy, I was really taken back. Those of you that know me, I have a pretty loud mouth, right? I'm a pretty crazy guy, a lot of energy. But when I first met this guy, I was like thrown back against the wall. I was like, wow, this guy has more energy than I do. And it just totally blew me away. And after getting to know this guy, he just totally blew my mind away because he's really tremendously helped bring a bunch of great people, not only to San Jose, but to Foster City, and also here in San Bruno. So at this time, I want to welcome Mr. Gary Masseri. Give him a big Sing it.
Wow, thank you very much. That's exciting.
I was hoping you would dance, Gary.
Well, I'm going to be very quick, very short. We got a lot of great speakers today. But let me tell you why I'm excited about Successful Thinkers and what it means to me. And I'm going to start by sharing this. When you sit down with somebody and you ask them about themselves, okay, what do you do for fun? What are you passionate about? What's your dreams? It makes a big difference in saying, hey, what's your business? Because people, when you ask that question, really want to tell you about their business. But isn't it nice that you can sit down with somebody and really learn all about their passions, what they do for fun, and you learn to what? Trust, to like them. And isn't that a better way to do business? Right? Okay, it's a much better way to do business. So on your one-on-ones, always talk in terms of their interests, not your interests. Always make them feel important. Kim Blanchard in his book, 1 Minute Manager, said this: find somebody doing great and acknowledge them. So when I had a one-on-one with Kelly, I was absolutely, totally won over with her propensity not only to learn, but to build her business. I mean, this lady really wants to service her clients. I had a whole good feeling about what I can do to recommend people to Kelly to promote her business. What she didn't know is I'm also a professional coach in real estate, so all realtors need that type of business, right? So she's got a big surprise, and I have other friends like Michael, same thing, loves people that we can refer business to when you get to know them. Now, I want to share this one story with you just to give you the power of these relationships, building long-term relationships. When you come here, it's not a short-term thing. It's not about meeting somebody, doing business with them. It's a long-term relationship that you're going to build with that person to know, like, and trust them. So it's a support system. But what do I mean by support system? Well, I come to these because I get fired up. I get excited. I now have all these people that I can call my friends. Is that making sense? So when you create friendships that are long-lasting, that you can trust people, it's a wonderful way to do business. Now, I want to share this with you. For years and years, my background is in real estate, and I've been in mortgages for 30 years, and I went to a marketing meeting every Thursday morning for years and years and years. Now, here's what I heard about these type of support systems. Guys would say, I'm not going to that marketing meeting. It's going to waste my time. I can't get any business out of that marketing meeting. Well, the gentleman that taught me that, his name was Glenn Langston. And Glenn said to this, he said, Gary, I go there because it's a support system. These are my friends. And I'm going there every Thursday, and he went there for over 40 years. Now, Glenn Langston taught me how to connect with other people and how to connect other people. So when you're doing a one-on-one and you're meeting people, learn about them, but how about if you went a step further and connected them with somebody that may benefit from their service? Is that a cool deal or what? Getting people connected, right? Glenn was an expert at getting people connected. Glenn was so liked in our community, but there was another side of the group that kept saying, why are you wasting your time, Glenn? Why are you going to that meeting? You're not getting any business out of that meeting. And Glenn said, those are my friends. That's my support system. I'm going to support them. Let me tell you what happened. Glenn started a company called Diagonal Funding Group. In that company, when he started it, all his friends for years that he supported came to him and said, hey, I want to start that company with you. Now, a lot of us owned other companies when we came. So guess what happened? This company took off like a rabbit out of a hormone farm. All us guys that own companies came to Glenn and supported Glenn because he supported us. That company, before he died, grew to over 1,100 loan officers, 200 employees, was valued at $77 million. I was one of those partners. What I'm sharing with you today, if you support this group and you learn to connect people, get connected and then connect other people, you're going to see a fabulous thing happen to your life. So I'm going to leave you with this. Get connected and connect other people. God bless you.
Well, Jerry forgot one thing. Come on back, Jerry.
I was so hammered with the emotions of that because he was a very close friend of mine. He died. But I want to introduce a couple right now. I got to tell you that really support that whole model of connecting people and endorsing people. So Abby and Islet, would you come up here, please? And please share what you do to endorse people. They help so many people that I bring here get connected. What a great couple. I love them.
Thank you, everybody. And it's really an honor and a privilege and, to be here and be part of this great organization. We've actually joined Successful Thinkers when they started in San Jose. And it just took us from one event to another. Then we started, when Foster City launched, we started to go to Foster City. And now we are here in San Bruno. And actually what this did for our business is tremendous. Because what Gary Masseri just talked about is the ability to help others. And I can tell you that the fulfillment that we have by helping others succeed is even much more than making a sale in our business. And that will basically turn, the whole situation to make it work for us as well. Because people will do business with people that they trust, like, and know. And you don't get that to happen by trying to sell someone or trying to go immediately into business. It's about knowing people. It's about getting to trust them. So it's been a tremendous journey for us for the last, 4 or 5 months since Successful Thinkers in San Jose started. And it's been an amazing, it did amazing things for our business in return.
And I want to just add something to it. I hope you hear me because my voice is normally low, so you have to keep quiet. What it helped us to do is, instead of focusing on our needs and focusing on trying to sell what we have, which is, by the way, a great product, we're now focusing on connecting. We're now focusing on really and genuinely networking. That's so much more fun, and very, very surprisingly and unexpectedly, it's creating a lot of business to us too. So I invite you all to just genuinely connect and network with other people and really help other people. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And with that,
Thank you very much, guys. Love you both. Wow. Woo. Powerful, powerful stuff. I just got one question. Are we ready for the main special guest speaker?
Yes.
Who's ready?
Yes.
Who's ready? Alright. So it is my privilege and my honor at this time to introduce the president and founder of Successful Thinkers. And by the way, is he all the way in the back? Oh, he must be all the way in the back. It's all tradition at Successful Thinkers that the guest speaker has to go all the way to the back. Jim doesn't like going all the way to the back, so it's fun doing that to him, So, the guest speaker today is the president and founder of Successful Thinkers. He puts his heart and soul into it, and I can't even tell you how many hours behind the scenes that he works on Successful Thinkers to make it go smooth. He's a die-hard guy. He's a great guy. The more I hang out with him, the better I like hanging out with him. It's huge. So at this time, I don't usually make you guys do this, but he's such a great guy. If we can have everyone stand up and give a nice round of applause for Jim
Jim, come on now.
Elias and Eric are a little whack, but in a good way. For those of you that don't know me, I look forward to meeting you. And for those of you that have been a part of Successful Thinkers, you kind of know the culture of Successful Thinkers. And part of why I built Successful Thinkers was to do something that's really never been done. It was a combination of several different things. When I first started thinking about building this, it was really from doing something else that I was doing at the time. I started doing interviews with different people like you and me, people that were entrepreneurs, they were successful in their own right, and they'd gone through the ups and the valleys and the highs and the valleys of success. And I thought, wouldn't it be great if we could interview these people and have them inspire other entrepreneurs, right? Because the whole concept about being an entrepreneur in reality is you're in business for yourself, by yourself, right? So who's going to support you? Who's going to encourage you? And we have to seek that information out on our own. We've got to go out and go to seminars and find people to become heroes in our life. And somehow, some way, maybe we'll surround ourselves with someone or a few people that might actually encourage us along the way. But the reality is, most of us won't. And so I was doing these interviews, and I did about 50 interviews. And all of a sudden I realized I didn't have an audience. I had nobody to hear these crazy, exciting stories. And some people know that the first person I interviewed, his name was Jack Canfield. Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Yep.
But immediately after I did that, I got all proud of myself and everything, and then I started thinking to myself, I could go after all these big guys and interview them, and then I started thinking the unrelatability. Because here's all these people that have created, a name for themselves. They've gone through the highs and the lows of life, but they're so far removed from us that the relatability is not there anymore right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because, they don't struggle like we do. Well, they did, but they don't now. And they may not be in the same business and so on and so forth. So that's when I discovered the concept of building successful thinkers. I said, what if I could build a network of entrepreneurs from every walk of life? Because I know we all are still the same. I mean, we all want to believe that we can make it. I know that we all need encouragement, all that kind of stuff. And that was the beginning foundation of Successful Thinkers. Over the last 3 years, what we are today is a result of the last 3 years. But it started with the idea of having an audience for people to hear the stories so we can believe. And so when we started doing the one-on-ones, I started realizing, and by the way, the first 3 meetings I did, I started in Raleigh, North Carolina, then I went to Stockton, California, and then I did one in Roseville. Those first 3 meetings were pretty much a traditional meeting. You go to a chamber, you go to BNI, let's have whatever, and everybody's just handing out their business cards and doing their typical thing. And it's just, I'm sitting there watching this and going, there's something wrong with this whole picture because everybody's just pitching. Yeah. And quite honestly, pitching doesn't work well with me. Because I know you're supposed to know your elevator pitch, right? And you gotta be prepared, you gotta be able to do it in 30 seconds or less. And quite honestly, I'm just not an elevator pitch guy. I'm just not. And I was actually writing my elevator pitch. And then that night, Robert Velarde and I were at the one in Roseville, the 4th meeting. And I'm watching everybody and I'm realizing that the energy was really not the kind of energy I like. Not that it wasn't working, but it wasn't the kind of energy that I like. And I saw some people sitting by themselves, not talking to anybody, and I saw some other people in a clique that I knew that they knew each other and they weren't networking. They weren't talking to anybody, but they were, except for their friends. Now, how much business are you going to get out of the same people you've been talking to for the last 10 years? You've already either got that business or it's pretty much done, right? And then you have the social butterflies, like the Anne-Maries and, the Eliases. The people that can get around and they have no problem talking to people. And I thought, okay, well, I looked around and I said, I'm stopping this thing. This is not right. And I stopped it and I asked everybody to put their business cards away because it's not what you're doing, although it's traditional and it makes sense in their mind and perhaps your mind. How many people really do business with people they just meet on the spur of the moment? Very few people, right? And so, all of the business I've done over the last, I'm 54, so all those years, okay? It's too long. But anyway, all of it came from meeting people, creating a relationship, and eventually cultivating that into some sort of business. Some was fairly quick. Some was, like when I say quick, I mean within days, and some of it was over months and some of it was over years. And I know that even in these economic times, we're all looking for some sort of immediate, fast results because we need cash, right? But the truth is, some of your best paydays might not come from somebody you meet today. It might come from somebody you meet today, but 2 years from now, 3 years from now, and change your whole world, your whole life financially. Or somebody you met 5 years ago finds out what you do today, and they change your world. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But it's because you didn't burn your bridges. Because you didn't burn the bridges. See, I'll never forget this. I listen to a lot of seminar tapes. Well, now they'd be called MP3s. Yeah. But in my day, they were tapes. And I'll never forget this. And the speaker, he was saying, if you didn't do business with them, just take that name and flush it down the toilet. Yeah. And quite honestly, I didn't do that. I thought that was a weird thing. Why would I want to flush a name down the toilet just because I didn't do business with them? And it was because, there's a saying, don't look behind you, right? And there's another saying, and I love this quote, your body doesn't live in the past, so why should your mind? But you know what? The people from the past can change your future. Yeah. If you cultivate a true relationship. How long have we known each other? Almost 2.5, 3 years, right? And you think about, here's a relationship that came from Successful Thinkers years ago, and she's still a part of us. And because of her, we're in the Philippines.
Yes.
But what if she didn't do anything, and I just thought, well, she's all talk and she doesn't make anything happen, and yet this woman has made stuff happen. But I could have taken on that attitude about a lot of people who open their mouth with what I call big mouth frogs. Big mouth frog is someone who says, I'm going to do this, and that, and they do nothing. But you keep believing in them, and one day they do something that nobody else could have done. Am I making sense? And so the idea with Successful Thinkers was just to teach people to build relationships, because people care more about how much you care than how much you know. And we call it the know, like, and trust. Get together with people and develop these relationships. And whether you're someone who likes to connect somebody, because this guy's in real estate, and here's some people that could do mortgages, and perhaps their sphere of influence could help build your business going. I'm going to tell you something. At the end of the day, you don't know who you're talking to. You don't know who maybe Esby's in real estate, but you don't know who she knows. And if she knows who you are and begins to develop a relationship with you, and she likes you, she might be able to help you build your business, even though it has nothing to do with your business, because of her sphere of influence. It has nothing to do with the fact that you're in the same industry. It has to do with who she knows. And if you don't build a relationship, regardless of what someone does for a living, you don't know where they could have taken you. You don't know what kind of doors they could have opened. You have no clue who you will meet. And I've met people throughout my career now that didn't do business with me, but we didn't burn each other's bridges. We kept those relationships true and honest, and they opened doors. We opened doors for each other because we liked each other. There was just a connection. There was a synergy. There was something about what we did, not what we did physically as a business, but what we did as a person. And those doors opened. And over the years, I learned from that concept that what if you look behind in your rearview mirror, those people are not deadbeats. Those people are someone that may have an influence on your life in the future. And all of that will come from relationships. And here's what's really amazing. When you go to a typical networking event, the idea is some of them are called speed networking, right? Now they have speed dating. I mean, seriously, come on. How can you know in a minute or 2 minutes if you're trying to look for a significant other, right? And you're gonna sit down and okay, she's gorgeous, and I'm gonna make my decision that she's the right woman for me. How on this planet can you do that in 30 seconds or a minute? You want to find out what's in here. Am I wrong or am I right? Because you can make a bad decision in 30 seconds or in a minute. Imagine if you sat down and said, I'm going to marry that person. Oh my God, what a decision did that just make there? No, you get to know them. And you build a relationship that hopefully will help you with what you're going to do. So Successful Thinkers, it's a different culture. I was frustrated with the internet. Anybody get frustrated with the internet? And you're supposed to go online, you're going to get rich, right? And the people that get rich are the ones that tell you you're going to get rich. Yeah, right. Because you're paying them so they can tell you you're going to get rich. But here's what's interesting. The only thing they don't practice what you do. They teach you how to do what they're teaching you how to. And here's what's really cool. Robert and I were talking about this before we went to Louise's house to pick Louise up in April. It was really amazing that all these people who are experts, right? You're a life coach or a nutritionist or whatever it is that you do, okay? And you just got a career in this industry and now you're an expert, but you just got in. And we use social media, we use the internet, we use all these tools that we can make these claims. The truth of the matter is, until you build a relationship with someone who, whether they're in real estate or whether they're a web designer or whether they're a programmer or whatever, you don't know whether they have the skills that you need to have to get the job done. And they'll tell you they can do it. They'll tell you right to your face, give me the 50% deposit and I'll take care of you. And 5 months later, when they haven't delivered, they'll say, well, life got in the way. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Because people claim they want to be an entrepreneur, but they're not willing to pay the price as an entrepreneur. See, and we make a decision to do business with people if we make it based on what we're taught, like that, without knowing that just quick decision could cost us a fortune financially, both money-wise and time. Because if you hired somebody to be your realtor, or you hired somebody to set up your website, or you hired somebody to be your social media expert, and they really are not an expert at it, but they have the card that says they are, and you didn't build a relationship with them, and you didn't find out who they know that they've done business with, what did you just do to yourself?
They got your money.
They got your money and sent you back. Am I making sense? So it's not just about, because how many of you been, I hate to use the word burn, but it is burn. How many of you been burned in some sort of a business transaction? So, okay, good. Now I'm not alone. I say that because there's a lesson to be learned in that process. Successful thinkers build an environment where, in a culture where you're not forced to do anything, but where you're given the opportunity to have a safe meeting with people to get to know them, to build that bridge. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And by the way, the only people that would be uncomfortable with anything I just said would be people who are telling you something that are not doing what they say they're doing. So if anybody has something negative to say about what I just said, they're probably not ready to be a true entrepreneur. And finally, just when you build these relationships, there's 5 things that come out of what we call the one-on-ones. And the first one, if you're looking for business clients or customers, depending on what your business is, some of you call them clients and some of you call them customers, that's the first thing that comes out of a one-on-one. Some people just, they like your product or they like your service or they like you and they want to buy from you. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, that could happen. The second thing that comes out of it, if they like you as a person and they believe that you can deliver, they're willing to refer you to their friends, the people that already trust them. This is powerful, ladies and gentlemen, because now all of a sudden you have the sphere of influence of somebody who has another sphere of influence that you don't have. But it came out of taking a little bit of time to get to know that person so that they can trust you enough to where they'll be investigating. And you need, ladies and gentlemen, when I say investigate, you need to investigate who you're doing business with. You've got to do that. Okay? So the second thing that comes out is potential referrals. The third thing that comes out of it is for some of you, you're looking for business partners, depending on the type of business that you have. You need people to run with, people that will, together you can grow your business. So that's the third thing that comes out of business partners. But the fourth and fifth thing that comes out of building one-on-ones, or doing one-on-ones, is, remember I said that most of us are in business for ourselves, by ourselves? When you do one-on-ones, you cultivate those relationships, and in those relationships you find people that you like. And if you find people that like you back, then all of a sudden you have what's called a support team. And a support team is people that actually care about your success. Can you imagine having somebody actually say, how's it going? How's your business doing today? And they actually mean it. What a concept. So having a support team is huge because most people have gone through their entire life in business for themselves with no support team. And finally, the number 5 thing that comes out of a one-on-one, has anybody ever had the luxury of having accountability partners? Seriously, raise your hand. Accountability partners are amazing because if you sit down with somebody, if you do one-on-ones with enough people, you're going to find a synergy where you go, oh, this person I'm talking to, I like that. There's a connection here. Am I right? And through that connection, you want to be held accountable by them because they're not going to go out and tell people that you're not doing what you said you were going to do and things like that. They're going to work directly with you as an accountability partner, somebody that you can run with, and they may not do business with you at all. And that's okay. But they care enough about you that they can say, hey, you didn't hit your goals today. You know what? That's okay, but you need to get on it tomorrow. Because it's your dream and nobody's going to build your dream. Except you, right? That's what an accountability partner does. And so Successful Thinkers is the first of its kind in the world where all entrepreneurs come in a pool where they can actually develop all the things that are necessary, in my opinion, for overall success. You can have the opportunity of a family. We call it the Successful Thinkers Network family. You've got a family. And by the way, if you're going to have a web design work done, or you're going to buy weight loss products, or you're going to buy social media products, or you're going to buy products, they could be software, or you're going to get social media work done, or you're going to work with someone, wouldn't you rather work with somebody that is in your family first?
Yeah.
First of all, you normally trust your family. And second of all, you know your family members, whether they're trustworthy enough to deliver too, right? So the idea with Successful Thinkers is to build this relationship and family where you start with the family first. If I'm going to buy a house or sell a house, I'm going to call somebody in my family that I'm close to. If I'm going to get my insurance, I'm going to find somebody in my family that does insurance, and that's what I'm going to do it with them. I'm going to do travel. If I'm going to travel somewhere, my travel agent is Madeline, right? Because Madeline's in my family. Does that make sense?
Right. My travel agent.
If I got to remodel my house, I'm going to do it. Our goal is to have every industry represented within Successful Thinkers. You all heard of Angie's List, right? Angie's List is an online, we'll call it Yellow Pages, where people can go and find people that can do all kinds of things, whether it's plumbing, electrical, handyman work, build a house, whatever, pour concrete, you just name it. And there's a certain amount of trust within that culture, because those people they've done certain things to elevate themselves on the Angie's List to be recognized as credible. Does that make sense? But here, but they don't really have people out there saying, hey, you want to have my cement guy do the work for you. But as successful thinkers, trust me, you have a cement guy in here and he's known, you will tell people about him over anybody else on Angie's List or anywhere else, over Craigslist or anywhere. And the more people you do one-on-ones with, the more people that you sit down with and create these relationships with, the more people that begin to speak on your behalf, rather than you're the only one. Because when you walk into a typical networking event, what are they doing? They pull out their business cards, hand their business cards out, and then over to the next person and hand their business cards out until they got them all out, right? And they're going to hope that one or two of those cards stick. But what if one or two of the people in the room stick because you built a relationship with them, and then they told somebody who absolutely needs your business right now, and they told them with the kind of energy and compassion and also trust when they told them, you're going to call that person. I'll never forget the first time I ever went to a chiropractor. I'm dead serious. I didn't like chiropractors. They scared me to death. But I was told by a really, really close friend, you ought to try this chiropractor. It's really good. I hurt my back. I'd been laying on the couch for 7 days. I could not work. I was in business for myself. I was scared to death that I was not going to be able to go back to work. I was 26 years old. I went to the chiropractor this person recommended, and literally within the next day I was up and getting around, and I was able to walk around comfortably. And during those 7 days I was laid up on the couch, all I could think of was I got to get out of the industry I'm in, because I can't physically do the work for the rest of my life if at 26 I'm already basically crippled. But somebody told me to go to a chiropractor I would have never gone to. They trusted that chiropractor, and that chiropractor got me back on my feet. You see the power of having somebody tell you something or tell somebody else about you? So that's kind of the overall gist of Successful Thinkers. We're launching other things that will make a difference. I'm not going to go into it, but it's called 9 Steps for Successful Thinkers, 9 Steps for Success. And the reason that we're launching that, we've already started. I'll come back and teach it later or another day, but there's certain steps for success in all of our lives. And we have to have a routine, because success doesn't happen by chance. Success happens because it's a plan. It's a focus. You're doing the things that need to be done. And so in the 9 Steps of Success, it incorporates the growth of successful thinkers while incorporating your growth personally. And so I'll be teaching that, and I'll tell you this, I've seen a lot of millionaires, including myself, who come out of those exact steps that I'm talking about whenever I come back for that. You should always, always, always be in the growth mode. I've met a lot of people who are experts at what they do, but they're not experts at building relationships. And when you look at the internet, 70% of what you and I buy right now today, 70%, maybe 75% of what you and I buy every day can be purchased online. Which means when you purchase it online, you're not helping your community, you're not helping people locally that you know, like, and trust. You're giving your business and your dollars somewhere else outside of your community. Does that make sense? With Successful Thinkers, I did a talk, and we haven't put it out yet. It's called it's called On Purpose, With a Purpose, For a Purpose. Successful Thinkers was built on purpose because I knew what was happening online. For a purpose, bringing people back together in their communities. For a purpose, if we can rotate the dollars here, not only are we helping the restaurant, but we're also helping ourselves, because everybody has a car payment, pretty much, or some sort of rent or mortgage payment, pretty much. Everybody pretty much has, utility bills and all the other expenses of life, right? So, if your money that you need, okay, I'm going to buy a stereo set, or I'm going to buy something that I can buy online, and I can get it at the same price here locally, but I'm going to buy it online because, they offer free shipping, right? Or whatever the reason is, because the convenience. We don't use the Yellow Pages anymore, do we? In fact, anybody who says they use the Yellow Pages, what? You gotta be kidding me. means the people that you end up doing business with online are people that are really good at SEO, search engine optimization. That means that they're at the top of the search engine, and that means they could be anywhere in the United States. So the moment you make that purchase, you just took your tax dollars and the dollars that could have made a difference in somebody's car payment, house payment, food that they put on their table, you just took it out of your community. So Successful Thinkers on purpose is using the internet to bring you together with other people that could use your business. We're the first company or platform in the world that actually is designed to do the opposite. Nice work. I don't know what the rest of the agenda is. I just know that I made it even with the traffic. It was funny. Just before we got here, Madeline was in front of us. We had to stop. We had to go use the restroom. The body was telling us we got to stop. But Madeline was behind us, not very far, 2 exits the whole time. And we got back on the road, and there she was. I saw her way up in front of us, so I sped up and caught up to Madeline. Talk about commitment. She came from Modesto. Louise, April, myself, and April actually came via Stockton through Sacramento, a long way. But Robert and myself and Louise, we came from Sacramento to be here today to acknowledge the launching of this. There's other people that are here today that are here to acknowledge the launch of Successful Thinkers. And I gotta tell you something, we're a family, guys. And a family that grows together stays together. Thank you very much.
You guys introduce Robert, yeah.
Oh, well,
Bring the gang to the back, man. You gotta give me your warm welcome
oh
here.
man, I didn't know I was supposed to do that.
Come on, Mom.
I didn't see the agenda, sorry. Actually, Robert Velarde, for those of you who don't know him, when I made the decision to do this platform, I knew that I needed Robert Velarde because Robert's extremely good at SEO, search engine optimization, but he's also a professional at social media. And even though I didn't quite understand social media 3 years ago, I do now. He did. And I asked him if he would help us. I didn't know how committed he was going to get to this crazy thing. But Robert has really sacrificed several thousands, maybe 20,000 hours, maybe more, over the last 3 years to help us to get Successful Thinkers out there online in multiple ways. Not just search engine optimization, but also social media and videos and all kinds of things. But more than that, Robert is not just a geek. See, a lot of people look at someone who's really good at search engine optimization as they're really intellectually brilliant, right? But Robert also understands the heart of people. And I believe in the internet. There's things I don't like about the internet because it takes people away from people. And it takes us away from the design that I believe that God created us for, which was to create relationships. And Robert has always been that. He's always understood that. When you sit here and speak today, I'm sure you'll pick
this room today. Have you made some good friends or best friends in this room from Successful Thinkers? Yes or yes?
Yes.
All right. And right here we have Mr. May, but he's from Foster City, and he was a recipient of Successful Thinkers by way of using his facilities as a host. And how's that going for you?
Really well. I've got great exposure, and the main thing is the friendship that built around that, because it led to many more of introduction to our facility through the internet, and also to the word of mouth. Also, we have great one-on-one, and it just opened up my eye in many dimensions that I never knew was possible. Because I came from a restaurant, and it's a brick and mortar traditional kind of business, and Elias opened this new Facebook universe, and Eric showed me how to set up my first Facebook, and it's just amazing. And from there it just goes on the one-on-one, and through Madeline, she with her coaching on how to host a meeting, how to run one. I'm just overwhelmed that the growth that I've gone through for such a short period of time. I thought I knew everything about business, but I came to be humble in the process, and it's an amazing journey for me. And I thank you all for introducing me to this family, and for getting me into it.
Let's give him a hand. Oh, for one thing, that's a real testimony. We're being real right here today. If we're starting conversations with each other, those are markets. Okay, so whenever you engage with somebody and you create a conversation, that's a new market for you. All you have to do is throw in some concepts into there, successful thinkers, and that's going to turn into ORI for you, return on investment, right? So today, I just want to say I'm here. Thank God for that, okay? I know it's kind of late, I don't know. They told me I have an hour to speak today, so I was like amazed. Just joking. Like about maybe 3 minutes if that, you know? But I did want to let you know some secrets. Do you like secrets? Anybody like secrets?
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody likes secrets. I am going to tell you some secrets. Now, we have just heard from Mr. Jim Balacera, who everybody knows this, but I'm going to say it right now. Now, Jim, okay, you could, just deal with this. He is the master relationship builder. Okay? Now what happens with that is when you take like special ops, everybody knows what special ops is, right? Yes? Okay, and you take like Navy SEALs, and you take like the Green Berets and all those, they're very special trained, is that right? They have very special knowledge. Well, if you combine all of those teams together and you put it into one, that's what Jim was trained as a very early age. How early was that, Jim?
Like 20s?
Yeah, like your 20s. So it is a part of his DNA now. And because it's a part of his DNA, some people don't want to do business with him because he's called, another term is a mover and shaker. So he makes things happen. There's this saying that says there's some people that, hope that things would happen. There's some people that watch things happen, and there's some people that wonder what happened. Well, you might be wondering what happened when Jim comes into the scene, but I can tell you one thing for sure, it's going to be all good. And this is what we have. So what I have done personally, my personal, mission with Jim and Successful Thinkers was to pick his brain and to see what really made this tick. What is this, Jim? How can you build dynasties of people of 100,000 plus in one organization, and 50,000 in another organization, and 40,000 in another organization, and then Successful Thinkers, who knows what the numbers are now? What is it that makes this tick? How can you do this? How can we capsulize this into a little micro thought? A little micro thought. That's all I want to know. And I believe I have the answer. I can't tell it to you today, okay, but I will give you a little micro thought. Okay, how's that sound? The micro thought of it is simply a lot of what you're experiencing today. You heard Man's testimony, you've heard Jim's testimony, you've heard Eric's testimony, Elias' testimony today, and you're going to hear several other people's. Just ask them, how many people are here for the first time that's ever been exposed to Successful Thinkers? Raise your hands, please. So there's a few, okay? So when you meet people, please ask the people that you're meeting, what has really Successful Thinkers done for you? And watch the answer. Pay very close attention to what that answer is. Okay, you'll be very surprised. Now the next thing is to go ahead and befriend these people on Facebook. That's the first step. That you're here. And so I have some people in the room here that they're not really the online person. I won't say no names, but he's sitting right there.
Lynn!
And the reason why I'm saying that, because every time I go on Facebook and I'm his friend, I don't know how I became his friend. I must have befriended him like 5 times before he actually accepted. We had to put phone calls into him and text message him and email him and say, Lynn! Oh, I'm not supposed to.
I suggested you to befriend him.
Yeah.
So he was kind of forced to. Yeah.
So now what happens on Facebook, every single time I log in onto the right-hand side, it says, suggest friends to Lynn. Every single time. I'm like, Lynn, you're famous online and you don't even know it. Lynn is not even online right now, and every single day his picture shows up in my Facebook profile. It's pretty awesome how that works, the technology, right? So what I wanted to show you is the secrets here. So there's a few components. Jim said one of the keyword phrases, personal development. How many people like personal development? I love personal development, folks. Personal development will take you to the next level every single time when you wake up in the morning. You will learn things and it will come to your memory just like a muscle. When you exercise, your muscles are being built up and they have a memory system, right? So does your brain. Your brain has a muscle system and that personal development is going to come to you. So when you come to a bump in the road or an obstacle in the road, that personal development is going to be there. One of those components is in Successful Thinkers. Is that right, Jim? Absolutely. Now, there's another strategy behind the whole process. We developed another strategy that when you come into a place like this, it raises the elation level of your thinking. So don't you get a good positive feeling when you come in here and you go, wow, this is awesome, right? This is great. All these positive thinking people. Like Jim said, he went to a place and there was positive thinkers, but were they emotionally positive thinkers? When you looked at them, it looked like they were ready to go to a funeral or something, right? So this is a place that we put the positive thoughts with the happy face, right? Angie, is that right? The happy face? Absolutely. So we smile. So let's just do it one time and practice. Everybody just smile, smile. See that? Isn't that awesome? So you feel that energy, right? So now what we do is now we recognize people. That's one word. That's a key word, right? We recognize people or we compliment another. Like Wade, he's an awesome guy. If you don't know Wade, you need to know him, okay? So what I'm doing right now is I'm edifying Wade.
Him too, believe me.
Look. He's got to get me back, okay? He's trying to get me back now, but it's my turn first, okay? So, then you can get me back, all right? And then, so what we do is we do the same thing online. We go back to Facebook, Twitter, whatever it is, and I said, man, Wade, it sure was good to see you and Shari today. You guys are awesome for coming all the way down from Sacramento. You went all the way down to San Bruno, and you came here. That's awesome. Thank you guys so much. And I'm putting in all these key words into the post, right? So people see this, they don't know what it is that I'm talking about. So this stirs up the curiosity. When you see Facebook posts and sometimes or Twitter posts, you think, what are they really talking about? After you see that about 7 or 8 times, or maybe sometimes even less, 3 times, because these are micro thoughts, right? You say, what is this? And that's your opportunity to get that person and bring them into the network. So you're able to build a network, your own personal network. So it's not just Successful Thinkers network, it's also your personal network. Think about that for a second. It's your personal network. How many of you, since the last time you heard me speak about this, has grown your network since the last time we talked about it? See that? We grew. Now, I know personally from the last time I said it from these events, from one of these events, I was able to grow my network with your friends and your friends of your friends to about 200 and 300 from one event, even though there's not that many people in this room. How so? Because they're your friends, and again, it shows up like Lynn's wall. Suggest friends, you know, to Lynn. Jim?
I gotta share something. This happened yesterday. I haven't even told Robert. I had 211 requests for friendship on my Facebook account, and so I was emailing back as fast as I could saying I can't accept your friendship because I'm already full. And to go to my other account, and Facebook almost shut me down. Simply because I was emailing them back, telling them I can't accept your friend request. It's because of Successful Thinking.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. See, and this is a direct result. So this is some of the things we're going to teach you. Now I'm going to tell you one more secret, and then I think my time is up. The other secret is that what we do is we put another component into it, and it's called Think and Grow Rich. How many of you read Think and Grow Rich before? Awesome book. Chapter 10 is the mastermind theory or the mastermind technique. So when we do the one-on-ones, it's a type of masterminding, okay? Because you're sharing thoughts with another person, that person's sharing thoughts with this person. So there's, like Jim said, as good as the internet is, and I'm here to say I'm a geek, I'm digital, you could cut me open and I think components will come out of me and EMFs like total, chaotic stuff and everything, but I'm also a human being. and I could stay off the internet for as long as I want, and I will not have withdrawals. Okay? Yeah, that's amazing for a geek, right?
Yes.
And I don't have to text message anybody. I don't have to do any of that stuff. But here it is. Here's what happens. When you take that masterminding concept and you put it into meeting that person in a real live format, that is solid. That will take you to the next level like nobody's business. How many people in this room, seriously, now just don't raise your hands just because you're in this room and I'm asking the question, but how many of you have actually met with people that they gave you advice or you mastermind with them, you took their advice to heart and you implemented it and it helped you in your personal, your business, online, offline? How many people? Raise your hands, please. Look at that. See, this is the power of this. Now, I don't know all what Jim knows, and he doesn't know what I know, right? But I know that if we share ideas, there's a synergy that takes place between the two of us. Now, I'm writing some materials for this, and so basically what ends up happening is I know for a fact that I'm taking advantage of this, and you're part of my Google experience. My experiment, a Google experiment in Successful Thinkers, and what that is just basically meeting people like Wade, meeting people like you, and just saying, hi, how can I help you? See, I don't come in there and say, hey, why don't you help me with this? You know, I just say, how can I help you? And then online I'll do the same thing, and then we connect, right? So what I do with that, now she might have a strength that I don't have and I don't even know about, but I know one thing. I have a saying, and here it is. You, all of you people in this room, can take advantage of this by this way. You can stand on the shoulders of giants today. The giants, meaning whoever those ones you are masterminding with, right? Or the people that you meet. And because of that, you will be able to see further because you're teachable and you're taking in that knowledge, right? And you're going to do something. You will be able to see further than they, the masters of that mastermind, ever imagined. You will be able to stand on the shoulders of those giants, and you will be able to see further than they ever imagined. I'm Robert Marty, and I look forward to seeing you online. Thank you very much.
I feel like just soaking all of that in. It's incredible information we can all learn from. But we got a surprise for you guys. You're not going to believe what's going to happen right now. How many of you guys heard of the Beatles? Rolling Stones.
Right.
Aerospace. Jennifer Lopez. How many of you guys heard of Rapid Ron and the Rodents?
Yes.
How's everybody doing today?
Great.
Okay, one of the things we do at Successful Thinkers when we have special guests, we have special entertainment for you. So here's a quick story about this rap song. I was in a Millionaire Mind Intensive. Anybody ever heard of the Millionaire Mind Intensive?
Yes.
Where they teach you how to think like a millionaire. So I was there in person. So we had an assignment to create a quick song about what we learned. And so this is the summary. What I learned is, well, I'll tell you what the song is. It's very quick. And then I'll tell you the meaning behind the words, because it's the meaning behind the words that is most important. It says, I am a winner. I'm not a beginner. That's part of self-talk, affirmations, programming my subconscious mind. I am a winner. I do what I say, and I say what I do. In other words, more action, programming myself. I'm not just thinking about it, I'm putting myself into action. Next is, if you've been on an airliner, you've gotten the instructions from the flight attendant. In an emergency, if the oxygen mask comes on, what do? You put it on yourself first before a child or somebody else who needs help. So we need to help ourselves first. When we create wealth, if we create abundance, we can help other people. So the next verse is, I help myself, I help other people. And then it says, yes I do, yes I do. I am a person of action. Thoughts create action, creates results. So
Now, for the first time on this planet, you, my friends, are going to experience not only Rap and Ron in person, but the rodents! So we're going to start this out with a slow clap. Got my head on.
Ready to do it, Rap and Ron? Let's do it!
Wait. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. I am a winner.
I'm not a beginner,
I do what I say.
and I say what I do.
I help myself.
I help other people. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I am a winner. I'm not a beginner. I do what I say, and I say what I do. I help myself. I help other people. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. You can do, and you can too.
Control money.
Come on, give him a hand next time. That's the one good thing about successful thinkers. You never know what you might get to see. And believe it or not, he changes it up every single time. So keep coming. You never know when it might happen again. At this time, I'm going to bring up Abby Gingo, and he's going to be doing a little something. But as he's coming up, we don't know exactly when, but this is going to be Abby and Elias' chapter. So we're gonna, he's going to help out. He's going to train it. We're going to be here to support him. So good luck, buddy.
So what I would like is to invite all the ambassadors, whether for this chapter or any other chapters in the area, to stand up, tell us who you are.
Have come to the front of the room.
Yeah,
Come to the front of the room, and let's do that. So if you are an ambassador for any chapter in the area, please come over. Introduce yourself. Maybe we'll get everybody here. We'd like you to introduce yourself. Tell us what chapter you are from and what day, time of the week your chapter meets. So we start from the right-hand side.
Well, I tried to get him the opposite so I wouldn't have to go first. Anyhow, we're in Fair Oaks, Sacramento, going east up 50. Mondays, 11 to 1, Carmelitas. It's just off of Sunrise Boulevard. It's on Howard Street, but anyway, you can Facebook either one of us. My name is Wade Brooks. Thank you.
Well, he's probably, my name is Shari and I'm an ambassador at the Fair Oaks Successful Thinkers with Wade. We work together in the Fair Oaks area. So every Monday, 11 a.m. till 1 p.m. and you can definitely find us on Facebook, Successful Thinkers of Fair Oaks.
Hi, I'm Bruno Walter from San Jose, and I had the great pleasure of helping Elias and Eric and Rap and Ron found the San Jose chapter. We meet every Wednesday from 11 until 1 at the Sonoma Chicken Coop on Almaden Expressway. We have a great speaker tomorrow. I've known her for a couple of years. I recruited her into 3 different groups, and she is a professional speaker. And she's going to be speaking on consumer finance related to that topic. Right? She works for Golden One Credit Union. So I would like to invite all of you that can make it to come tomorrow.
My name is Melas. I'm the lead ambassador of Foster City chapter, and we meet on the happiest day of the week, which is Friday. We meet starting next week. We'll be meeting from 11 to 1 at Chevy's restaurant. Yes, we outgrew Spices because of his generosity and hospitality. We outgrew the place there, so we're moving there as of next week. We're having the president of San Mateo Chamber of Commerce be our guest speaker next week. Come and see us next week.
Okay, so I'll see you later.
So, good afternoon. My name is April Cooper, and I am one of the ambassadors at the wonderful El Grove, so the other side of the bridge. If you feel like coming down with your shit. We are at the Holiday Inn off of 99 and Laguna, and and our times are from 11 to 1, sometimes later because we have a little fun. So, but come down and see us. Right.
Hi, my name is Ben Chow. I'm one of the ambassadors at the Foster City Successful Thinker Network, and we meet every Friday at 11:30 at Spices. But like Melas said, every Friday, like Melas said, because we're also in the area, so we're looking for a new venue. We're actually going to move to Chevy's right now. One more meeting we're going to have, it's going to be this Friday night. It's going to be a fun luau party out on the waters. So please come and join us this Friday evening at 5:30 in Foster City. And then the following week, we'll be going to be meeting at the same time, 11:30, it's 1. At 11 o'clock to 1 at Chevy's, which is just a couple store down from us. So please welcome and join us in Foster City.
I am an avid successful thinker. I've kind of become the roaming ambassador, but I tend to hang out mostly way up Highway 50 at the Placerville location. We meet on Thursdays, 11:30 to 1 at Casa Ramos, and Successful Thinkers is a family, and every group is fabulous, but come to our group and you will really feel what family feels like. It's fabulous.
Hello, my name is Ron Horry. My main chapter is San Jose. We meet on Wednesdays at 11 to 1 at the Sonoma Chicken Coop on Melbourne and Expressway. I also support Foster City, which meets on Fridays, and now San Bruno here, which we meet on Tuesdays.
Woo!
And now we would like to have you announce if you have any community events or other successful thinker events, and that's the time to announce it. It's not about private events, but only about community events. So if you have any, please stand up and tell us what kind of event. Do we have any announcement?
Yeah. Hey, and Sacramento, this Saturday at the Holiday Express Inn, we're having a drive for diabetes, and supported by Successful Thinkers. So you guys, it's a marvelous thing to support. It's a runaway train wreck in America right now. A lot of kids are hitting type 1 out of nowhere, so come and support us. Non-profit, great organization. I'm proud that Successful Thinkers would support such an organization. Okay, Maurice has put it on, one of our ambassadors.
Okay, with that, I'd like to turn it back to our host, Eric Wilson.
Thank you, Abby. Thank you. So now, you know, I'm gonna do something I don't usually do, and I'm gonna play green. I want Luigi making come in well, she's back there with Jim. Jim and Luigi going back and forth. So I told her to come up with the ambassadors, but when I introduced Jim, Louise is behind Jim and everything he does. If you can't get hold of Jim, call Louise. Am I right, Jim? Is she not? She's right there, right? So if for some reason something's going on and you can't get hold of Jim, Louise is the lady. Now, I know he wanted you to say something, so go ahead, please.
He is so incredible. Well, I would like to tell you about two events that are really important, not only for Jim, but for all of Successful Thinkers. And I know that they're not here. They're on the other side of the bay, but trust me. I used to live in this area. It's a nice drive over to the Sacramento area. On Saturday the 17th, Mel Vesely, who is one of our ambassadors at a couple of our chapters, is putting on an event called Unleashed Biz 2011. It's a group of fabulous people who are wonderful speakers, who are entrepreneurs, and our own Jim Melas is one of those that are going to be speaking. You've heard of Jim Britt, I'm sure you've heard of Eric Rothholm. There's a number of people who are going to be there. And it's a great day. It's an all-day event, but it gives you the opportunity to hear from these fabulous speakers who have something to share with you on all sorts of business ideas and personal development ideas. So I encourage you to find out about that and come and bring a friend. Come up on Saturday. It's in Sacramento at the Holiday Inn Express gate opening in Sacramento, and it's a great event. But also, I want to share with you that on September 27th, is that correct? 28th. Wednesday, September 28th, the San Mateo Business Expo is going to be here. And a number of you have booths and stuff, but Jim is going to be one of the keynote speakers. And Successful Thinkers is going to be there representing all of you and all of our chapters. So I would encourage you to do that. But I want to add something that all of our wonderful speakers today shared with you part. But I want to share with you a part of Successful Thinkers that nobody has brought up. Jim brought it up a little bit. It's the heart of Successful Thinkers. This is where it appeals to me. Personal development is so important, and I live for that. I agree with that. And the business part of Successful Thinkers, your business is going to change. You're going to find out that people that you never thought you'd do business with are either going to do business or they're going to refer you to somebody. They're going to share you with somebody. Or they're going to be, as Jim said, your accountability partner, your coach, somebody that you can relate to. But the heart of Successful Thinkers is that we are a family, and we support each other. Whether it be that somebody in this chapter is looking for some help or some guidance in Foster City, San Jose, Sacramento, Placerville, it doesn't matter. We are one great big family. We work together. There's no competition in Successful Thinkers. People ask me, why is it the Elk Grove chapter that I go to, we average about 80 people every week. Imagine that. And there are so many people that are in the same industries, some in the same companies. And people ask me all the time, how can you do that? How can you bring people together that are in the same companies and I'm going to get business out of it? I don't want to come because somebody here, April does what I do. I don't want to go because everyone's doing that. You know what? No competition. Because when you get to know, like, and trust each other with your one-on-ones, when Man and I sit down and work together, isn't there 100 restaurants I can go to? But when I know Man, and we get to be friends, and we get to know, like, and trust each other, which we already are friends. I may live in Sacramento, but I'm going to refer my friends from the Bay Area to go to Man's restaurant to support him. We pay it forward. It's what we do. It's not about the money. It really isn't. It's about the heart of Successful Thinkers. And when you embrace Successful Thinkers and you bring it into your life and into your heart, it's going to change everything. I've been in Successful Thinkers for about 18 months now. And I was one of those people, might have been like you, who said, I don't want to go. And I was basically forced to go. True. But after the first meeting, when I met the heart of Successful Thinkers, and I started seeing what the people were about and the family that Successful Thinkers are all about, I knew that this was the place for me. So I encourage each one of you, embrace the heart of Successful Thinkers. The personal development is fabulous, the business is fabulous, the referrals are fabulous, but embrace the heart of Successful Thinkers. And more than that, share Successful Thinkers with somebody else who's looking for that. Because I can tell you right now that each one of you know a dozen people who are looking for something. They're looking for that heart of what Successful Thinkers is all about. They're looking for somebody who really does care, who really does want to help and support them. So my encouragement to all of you is when you come back to your meeting, whether it be this meeting, the San Jose meeting, Foster City meeting, the Placerville meeting, wherever you go, don't just call somebody and say, hey, come to this fabulous meeting. Go pick them up. Bring them here and show them what Successful Thinkers is all about. Thank you.
Keep clapping for the waitresses. Don't be afraid to come back, even on non-meeting days. It's a great meeting. On that note, set up your one-on-ones and have a great day, guys.
Thank you.
Hit it, Elias.